Then you would have America develop something like OnlyFans, or whoever developed OnlyFans. Then Africa would follow suit and say, let's do our own version of OnlyFans. Europe industrialized. They succeeded at that. What is the Botswana game? What is the Africa game? How can we play at our strengths? When African countries talk about development, there's a question that keeps on being asked over and over again. How can we learn and copy other people's success in what they're doing? How can we benchmark? We travel a lot as African countries, African leaders, to go and benchmark in other countries. Even as entrepreneurs, we travel the world and we see what other people are doing. And we're like, oh, how can we bring this home in Africa? How can we copy this? And my question to you is, what game are you playing? My name is Belle Seabo. I'm mayor of Belle Seabo Consultants. And over here, we love all things wellness and just talking about success so that we can actualize everyone's vision of becoming. In today's conversation, I would really love to talk about a topic I was having a conversation with a friend about. And this friend came to me and they were like, oh my God, you know, I was sitting with this very successful businessman and he was saying that Botswana needs to get into manufacturing. Botswana is the country that I'm from, for those people who are watching and are not from Botswana. So he's like, Botswana needs to get into manufacturing in order for it to be able to move and diversify its economy. In order for it to grow in its development, it needs to do what? To manufacture. And a thought came to my mind. And it was like, if you look at different countries that have gotten to the level of success that we benchmark on, take for example, China. China has mastered its manufacturing. It has made sure that it is the world's factory and the world needs China. Look at Japan. Japan, they've said, we're going to refine things and build a certain level of innovation and discipline when it comes to this. Take America. America, they're very great at branding and technology. And when you look at all these three different countries that a lot of the economists or development topics tend to want to emulate, they are playing at their strength. China said, we've got over 1 billion people. We've got a mass of land. We've got different seaports. So therefore, if we become the world's factory, we can literally be the one that is the production hub of the entire world and ship to the rest of the world. America said, hey, we've got the Silicon Valleys. We're going to develop technology. We have had 100 years ahead of the rest of the world when it comes to telling stories, movies, branding. And that's the game that they play. And even if they develop things like technology in America, they don't play the production game. They don't play the manufacturing game. They go elsewhere. Look at the iPhone. Developed in America, assembled in America, but the different parts come from different parts of the world and most of them come from China. They don't play the manufacturing game. What do? They play the development of technology game, which is their strength. So now, coming back to Africa, I sit and then I wonder, what is Africa's game? Heck, why would I even amass or sum up Africa into one? Because Africa is so diverse. It's got 54 countries. So I'll speak to the individual countries in Africa. I would speak to my country, Botswana, and say, what is your game? What is the Botswana game? How can Botswana play at its strength and not try to catch up every single time? Because if we start trying to play the manufacturing game, we've got countries like China who are going to beat us with the numbers. They've got like over 1 billion people. We only have 2.3 million people. So labor, they're already beating us out. So why would we even want to play a game where we're already going to be set out to lose before we even start? And heck, we can start. I'm not saying that we shouldn't get into manufacturing at all. We can get into manufacturing, but let it be manufacturing in our own intelligences and our own strength, using our own intellectual property of the different cultural and indigenous, that word is difficult, indigenous knowledge that we have in our country. And I sat down with myself and I remembered in my younger years, and I will tell you a story since I love stories these days. In my younger years, I had a coach. I was athletic and I used to play sports. And you know, you would play with children who came from maybe like very places that have a lot of strength and speed, like maybe who come from very rural areas, and those rural people, they're strong, their bones are built different from the city people, you know. And when they would come and we would play with them, and mind you, I'm a rural girl, so I'm a rural girl living in the city. I grew up in the village, come and play in the city, so my strength is different from a city girl, you know. And we have rural people who come, and that whole team is made of rural people. I would be maybe the only person who's from the village within our team. And when we would start playing with them, I would be like, they're strong and they're fast. And I would play at that aggression and that speed that they're playing at, notwithstanding that the rest of my teammates couldn't play at the same level of speed and at the same level of aggression because they didn't develop in that way. So what would happen would be, we're playing in a team of 7 people, and I'm the only one playing at a certain level of speed and aggression because I'm no longer playing my team's game. I'm playing the game of the rural girls who are now here because I'm trying to match up with them. I'm trying to catch up with them. And I was one of the best players in the team. But when I would play like that, I would be letting the team down. And the coach would be like, slow down. You're playing the game. Slow down. And I'll just look at him and be like, what is this man saying? What do you mean I'm playing that game? And it's only like when we get into breaks, he would sit me down and tell me and say, these people are faster than you guys. They're aggressive than you guys. But that doesn't mean that they would win. You have to look at your team and the strengths of your team and play at the speed of your team. And at the time, I thought, got back into the court and I'll play the slow pace because I'm a child. So I'm like, okay, let me play to this team that is slow. We would lose because those little girls that are strong, we would lose. But then years later, in my adult life, and I was having a conversation with Bonnie. Now, this teaching comes back to me. I remember my coach. When my coach said, don't play at that game. You're going to lose. You're forever going to play at catch-up speed. So even now, when I look at Africa, when I look at Botswana, it's like, oh, America would start with social media. Then next thing, you've got tech companies in Africa trying to create social media. Then you would have America develop something like OnlyFans, or whoever developed OnlyFans. Then Africa would follow suit and say, let's do our own version of OnlyFans. So we're always just trying to copy, to mimic, to take other people's blueprint. Then asking the question, what is our blueprint? And how do we play our own game? We would have, people come and tell us that we're now in the 4th industrial revolution, and this is what the 4th industrial revolution looks like, and this is how you should catch up. Europe industrialized. They succeeded at that. What is the Botswana game? What is the Africa game? How can we play at our strengths? Down from, this is not even a governmental issue or a policymaker's issue. Even you as the entrepreneur, how do you build a sustainable business that is playing at the strengths of your environment? And I can reflect my own personal journey in business. I used to have a cosmetic line called Rose Jam, and it was produced in China. Everything was produced in China. I would design it here, manufacture in China, and it will get shipped here. And that business died out because it wasn't sustainable. Because you have to factor in shipping, and if a company or a store orders brushes, how soon can I get the stock to them if it sells out? So even now when I'm building new businesses and I'm building business model, I make sure that it's centered around indigenous knowledge of my people and my culture. The goods that I get, they are within my locality, and I get them from the locals that are here, because I would then be able to sustain that. I don't have to wait 3 months for something to come from China. I can just easily get it in my environment. So that's the question that I want to leave you with. I have some ideas in terms of like what's the Botswana game, but I want you to figure that out on your own. I want you to sit with yourself and look at your environment and stop thinking globally, but start thinking locally. And not to say that don't think globally in terms of exportation. Don't think globally in terms of mimicking what the rest of the world is doing. Look at your society, look at your locality, and ask yourself, what are the problems in this environment that I can resolve? I don't even know what you think about this video, but like, give me your 2 cents. What do you think is the Botswana game? Because we need to figure this out. Like, if you know somebody in government, please share this to them, because even when you look at policies that are often made, it's often mimicking different things that have taken place in the world. I mean, right now we're speaking about the English breakfast, and no shade to anybody, I say this respectfully. We're speaking about how we want English breakfast in our schools. How about we want the Setswana breakfast? How about we ask for the food that is local to us and we feed it to the young person? Because surely the environment always has what it needs. Your environment has everything that it needs for you to grow, for it to grow. We have every single thing that we need. And looking at things that way is a mindset. Your mindset attracts to you your different life experiences. If you watched my last video about that man on site, the gangster video who was disturbing me, I had to sit with myself and ask myself, like, what is it about my mindset? What is the seed in my mindset that attracted that experience? Because everything is mindset, and mindset, the mind attracts all the different experiences. I'll blame that person and say, oh, they're like this, but there's something energetically in me that connected with that behavior and that allowed for that behavior to even come to my realm. So once we adjust our mindsets as policymakers, as entrepreneurs, as development specialists, and say, what is our game? The answer would surely come. To African governments, stop trying to attract investors with copy and paste blueprints. Start building ecosystems where local talents doesn't need to beg to be seen. Imagine what would happen if we stopped chasing other people's formulas and creating our own formula. Imagine what would happen if we stopped wanting to look global, but instead solve local. As Africans, my question to you is, what is Africa's game? What is your country's game? And I would love you to indulge me in this conversation by leaving a comment down below. If you're in Kenya, if you're in Botswana, if you're in South Africa, if you're in Nigeria. What is the strength of your environment? And what is the game that your environment can play? Because remember, ask and it shall be given. My name is Belsa Abo, and I pray and I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let us start playing our game, because that's the only way that we're going to win.